Hi there, and welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. I am your host, Kamaria Richmond, and we have a wonderful show for you today. We are talking to Mr. Ron Mitchell, and Ron is the Ignite coach, and we're going to talk about that. He's also the CEO of BEM Enterprises, and I'm excited for you to learn about his conference for women. And so, Ron, welcome back to the Ed Brown Show.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. And so we want to talk about entrepreneurship because you have the successful company, you have a successful business, and especially for young people, how do we get started? How do we become an entrepreneur? How, as a young person, do I even get an inkling about I can have my own business?
Well, it starts with a dream.
Right.
We all have a dream. You know, it's easy to say you want to do something, but it's different to actually do the things required in order to be successful. I say it starts with a dream because the dream is the one thing that'll keep us inspired.
Right.
Ignites the fire within. And in addition to that, a dream is the one thing that we will pursue even if we're not making money. Because a dream is also something that brings us joy and happiness and enthusiasm and excitement. So imagine doing something that you've dreamed about. In most cases, you're going to be very successful at it. You're going to be able to put forth the energy involved, the effort, and then the expectations are going to be boundless. That's because of the dream. So with entrepreneurship, I always say, associate your entrepreneurship with your dream.
Right, and so this is something you would do even if you weren't getting paid.
Absolutely.
It's something that
I wake up every morning fired up about it.
And do it. And how did you start your company?
Well, I started my company through entrepreneurship, not entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship, a little different.
Okay.
Well, now entrepreneurship is defined as an employee in a company that has an entrepreneurial spirit that works within the organization. And through such an entrepreneurial spirit, he or she is able to fuel innovation and excel and drive great results for the company. Now, that is, people look at it like that and define it like that quite often. I look at entrepreneurship as internal. Internal.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship internally. I believe that you have to mold and shape what's inside of you, because what's inside of you is essentially what manifests. Your attitude, your energy, the vision, the capability when the world says no, you tell yourself yes. So some of those internal characteristics that we all have, when you are able to develop those, then you become a successful entrepreneur. I think that without developing and winning on the inside, it's very tough to be successful on the outside, and that as an entrepreneur.
And you talked about looking at yourself in the mirror.
Yes.
And with huddle, I believe you were talking about like football players, or you know what? Let's get into our huddle and let me figure out how I'm going to start my day.
Well, I always talk about huddle. Like football players, typically, whenever the game is going on, they'll run the ball or throw the ball, and whenever they run 5 or 10 yards, get stopped, they typically go back and huddle together and come up with a strategy that's typically about what they're going to do next, what the next play is going to be. And I think we should also do that every day. Self-huddle. When you wake up in the morning, have a self-huddle. Look in the mirror. Talk to yourself about how I feel, what my day is going to look like, what I'm going to achieve, what do I need to overcome, and more importantly, my energy level. How can I feed my faith and ensure that I can overcome any obstacles that may be thrown at me personally and professionally? So we have to get ourselves fired up and fuel our mindset. Right? Because if we don't, the moment you walk outside your door, the world will make suggestions for you. And sometimes we're not able to excel and drive results or achieve what we envision because we simply did not have a self-huddle. that little talk with yourself.
Yes, and what about, let's say, you know what, I don't want to look in the mirror. I don't want to see what's going on. I'm just going to go on with my day, and whatever happens, happens.
Okay.
And you know what? Whatever happens tomorrow is, you know, I'm not looking right for the day. I'm maybe looking at the past, and I'm looking a lot of times already in the future, but like at this moment, meditation, prayer, you know, I don't know anything about the self-huddle.
Okay. Well, that's okay. If you're not interested in having a self-huddle, then when you wake up in the morning, make up your bed. Make up your bed. The reason why I think it's important to make up your bed, because in making up your bed, it takes typically 2 to 3 minutes to make up your bed. During that process, you can help to make up your mind. While you're making up your bed, make up your mind. Determine what you're going to do, how you're going to approach the day, what kind of energy are you going to display and convey to others.
Okay.
If life throws you a curveball, you play a little dodgeball and get out the way and still move forward. So when we make up our bed, we're able to make up our mind in that moment, and it can change your life forever. So it's important to make up your bed every day.
That is so simple. And I have to tell you, that's the first thing I do when I get up is make up my bed. But something that simple can just change your world.
Yes.
And it's something that can be really, really simple. Now tell us, and we've talked about it, but tell us about this Ignite Her. Because, and we're going to talk about you being the Ignite coach. Well, let's start with that first.
Okay.
Let's talk about being the Ignite coach and what that means.
Well, simply to ignite the fire within someone and drive the human spirit, drive result, coach people to unbelievable success, personally and professionally. That's what it means to ignite something, to fire it up, to fuel that spark, to get it going. Yeah.
Wow. And I tell you, I have to tell everyone, as I've told you, to watch Ron on YouTube. Great videos. And how do you come up with those videos? Because you have a lesson, but you have Muhammad Ali. You have Will Smith as Muhammad Ali. Or you have all these wonderful, I mean, movies that we know, actors that we know, but it drives the point home.
Well, thank you.
When you're saying, okay, just use one analogy. And this is what I can do to ignite myself every day. So,
well, you know, there's a video called Willing, Ready, and Able.
Yes.
Because in what you mentioned earlier, there was your favorite. You have to be willing to do the things today that most people will not do in order to have the results that they can only hope, wish, and dream about tomorrow. And you have to be ready to seize the moment.
Yes.
You know, preparation is everything. Sometimes opportunity presents itself to us, and we're not ready to capitalize on that opportunity. So you have to be not only willing, but you got to be ready, and also you have to be able that when things don't go your way, when you get knocked down, that you're able to get back up, able to recover, able to keep moving forward, even when the world tells you no, you're able to tell yourself yes. So you have to essentially be willing and ready, and of course able.
And able. And you've talked about pain. So if we're not willing, ready, and able, then the pain is going to come.
Absolutely.
So how do we can't avoid the pain, but how can we work through it?
Well, the one thing that's very important about success, it comes with shortcomings, comes with setbacks.
Right, absolutely.
Comes with pain. And sometimes the pain is physical pain, sometimes emotional, sometimes psychological, sometimes mental, sometimes even spiritual impact. We feel the pain. But the one thing that pain can bring us is pleasure. Because, well, typically when we deal with some sort of pain, then there's some frustration involved. There's something that didn't go our way. It's something that is simply unbelievable. It's saddening. But the one thing I learned through pain is that discomfort is very important, because when we're uncomfortable, it fuels success. We're able to become more successful. We're able to grow more through discomfort. Imagine when you were 4 years old or 5, and you were learning how to ride a bike, and you fell off of it. It gave you some discomfort, right?
Right.
But through that discomfort, it's challenged you, and more importantly, it improved and fed your confidence. And through that confidence, you became courageous and successful,
Right.
and more importantly, you spent the many, many years moving forward, riding that bike faster and faster and faster. So pain, a little discomfort, it triggers growth. And I think it's necessary in order to become the person you envision or hope to become.
It is necessary, but who wants the pain? But we know that it
But we
is.
all want the success.
But yes, exactly. And that's the thing. We want it now. We want everything now. We
Yes.
want our business now. We want to start making money now, but we haven't gone through the process.
Absolutely.
And how do we walk ourselves through that process?
Well, I'll give you an example. What my mother shared with me, she said, when I was first pregnant, I wanted a baby right then and there, but it takes 9 months.
Right?
And so as a result of going through that process, she endured a lot of pain. Because we want it right now.
Right.
But the moment she gave birth to my older sister, Pamela, in that moment, she realized the importance of the process. Because through 9 months, she learned how to sing and talk to my sister, learned how to maintain a better diet. She grew emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. She started reading information about being a better parent and parenthood. So it allowed her time to prepare to offer the world something that it had never seen before, which is my sister Pamela. So as a result, through that process, we all want it now, but
Right.
the process
Right.
is important, because through the process, it ensures that we can acquire prosperity. So when I think of a process, I think of prosperity and productivity.
Yes, yes. And tell us about your story, because now it makes perfect sense to me, knowing your story and how your mother, what she did to prepare.
Well, my mom, single mom, 4 kids, and she raised us all in a drug-infested ghetto on the south side of Chicago. Needless to say, I've seen an enormous amount of challenges, from gangs, to shootings, to killings. The list goes on, but she was pretty strict, very tough. And then one thing that she was big on was education and not giving up, work ethic, being kind, giving back, celebrating people. She told me one day that I had a major challenge ahead of me. I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Walk outside the door and look around, and 10 minutes later, you come back in, tell me what you see." So I walked outside and I looked around, and needless to say, I was getting ready for my paper route, and I rubbed my eyes together a little bit, and I saw a drug addict shooting dope. I saw another lady taking part in some illegal activity. I saw prostitution. I saw a car turn a corner and someone shoot. This is 7 o'clock in the morning in the summertime. I'm a kid. I saw that, and as a result of that, I walked back in. And she said, "What did you see?" I said, "I saw cancer."
Wow.
She said, "Well, you saw cancer? What do you mean?" Not physical cancer. I saw cancer of the spiritual cancer. I saw how people were broken. There are different types of cancer, But when the
Right.
spirit has cancer, we're broken. We've given up. We quit. We
Right.
stop believing. We stop hoping. We stop trying. And when cancer gets the best of the human spirit, the world, America, can never be what it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Because of the greatest technology in medicine today been birthed because some of us have been able to overcome the cancer that attacks the human spirit and not quit, continue to go to school, continue to be innovative and coming up with ideas and strategies and new businesses and pushing the envelope further. And not only pushing the envelope of life further, but building and creating new envelopes, new material, new opportunities. And so that cancer I saw, I knew that I wanted to spend the rest of my life helping to overcome that spiritual cancer. And in doing so, I believe that when we ignite the human spirit, we can overcome that cancer that attacks the core of who we are, I believe, and fuels and pushes us and promotes us giving up on life and who we envision becoming. And so I've spent my life helping to serve. And when we serve, that is when we learn how to lead.
That is powerful. When we serve, then that's how we know how to lead. And do you give that story or tell that story to young people that want to be the next Ron Mitchell?
You're very kind. Well, I often talk to young people about telling their story.
Okay.
Developing your own narrative.
Yes.
You have something special that you don't even know you possess. It's something that's inside of you. Your mom went through a lot just to get you here. I tell young people that millions of women have died giving birth.
Yes.
It's tough. They go through a lot just to get you here. And if your mother is willing to die to birth something so beautiful as you, then you should have the intestinal fortitude to be all you can be, to pursue your dreams, to get knocked down 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, but get up that 11th time. And because your mother was willing to make such a sacrifice, you owe it to yourself. And if you don't want to do it for yourself, then do it for your mom. That person who has invested something, including her life, to get you here. So we owe a great debt to our mothers, and in particular to the human spirit that lives within women, and of course men too.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. So talking about women, we'll just transfer into the Ignite Her conference. Tell us about the conference, because that's going to be equally as powerful, especially now I'm listening to you talk about giving birth and what that means. I'm like, wow. I'm like,
Well, we are doing Ignite Her conferences. The first conference will be on May 11, 2019 in Baltimore, Maryland, at the Lord Baltimore Hotel. One-day conference that we are pretty fired up about. The conference will entail hundreds of women attending, being fired up, learning about work-life balance, learning about how to live your dreams, learning about how to be successful in a male-dominated environment, learning about work-life balance, learning about innovation, learning about overcome obstacles, learning how to face barriers and then having a breakthrough, getting tips and strategies that you can implement in real time, right there in the moment, and to soar to new heights. So we're excited about this conference because not only are we going to have this conference, but we're actually going to have multiple conferences. And all throughout 2019 through 2020, we're going from DC to Dubai, Singapore, Canada, Germany, London, to Boston, Seattle, to Chicago. We're going to multiple cities, helping to ignite the fire within women and support and celebrate them, and more importantly, give them a winning edge in life.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Excited because that is such, I mean, that will make a difference. So through the Ignite Her, is this where we find our why? And this is, I'm going to live my best life. And is this where we get all of that?
Well, the good thing about this tour is that we get a little, you get a little bit of that, but we get solutions. We get answers.
Yes.
We get tips. We get strategies. We get breakthroughs. And more importantly, we are going to be offering some innovative coaching after the conference that the world's yet to see. And then in addition to that, post-conference, we're going to be offering Ignite Monthly, an innovative program that's designed to provide all attendees with continuing learning strategies that will help you become a better person, a better professional. So when the conference is over, you're still getting some unmatched, innovative support. Most conferences, when the conference is over, it's over.
It's just over.
It's over. We're offering continuous learning.
Right.
It doesn't stop there, because we're investing in you because we want to keep you ignited. You know, when the conference is in, you're fired up and then it's over.
Right.
Well, at Ignite Her conferences, it's not over. It's just beginning.
Right, so we're not just taking notes.
Oh, no.
We're just sitting there taking notes,
Oh, no.
but we actually get some real life solutions.
Real life solutions. You're going to be taking part in a lot of high energy activities. It's going to be like KFC meets the Colonel. It's going to be magic. it's going to be like Bill Gates meeting Microsoft. It's going to be magical.
It's going to be great.
Something pretty cool. And then more importantly, there's going to be some awesome takeaways, and women going back to their communities, going back to their families with something to add a value, to implement, to make them a better mom, a better sister, a better grandmother, a better friend, better wife, a better CEO, a better teacher, better leader. We're going to be giving them some really, really cool things that help them to skyrocket and reach that next plateau in life. So we're really, really fired up.
And that's what it's all about. Getting the information and then sharing it. Because once you share it, then you never know whose life you're going to ignite. And you know, oh, you know what? I was talking to Kamaria and she said, you know, she started talking about my why, or being willing, ready, and able. But I also want to talk about your book. You have a book and you have a workbook called No Matter What. And we're going to try and, okay. We were going to show it, but but that's okay. Tell us about your book and your workbook.
Well, one thing about the book and workbook is, which I'm very proud of, the book is about my life story.
Okay.
And it details a lot of potholes and obstacles that I had to overcome as a young person and then growing up as an adult. And it provides the reader with an array of tips and strategies and things that you can implement to also come and overcome obstacles and to live your dream no matter what. In addition, the workbook is a self-exploratory tool. It's a series of questions that challenges the reader to answer tough questions about themselves and to dig deep and to go to places personally that you're uncomfortable with. And at the end of the workbook, you'll essentially have a roadmap on how to get from point A to point B. You'll know where you are and where you want to be, and then how to get there. So I urge people to read the book, and not only read the book, but essentially the workbook, because the book will not only give you some great tips and energy, but more importantly, it is a catalyst for the workbook. You know, the book and the workbook, and I'm very excited about the two pieces of literature because to date, I've gotten some phenomenal feedback and people telling me that it has certainly made a positive contribution on their life and for their business and with their children and families. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Okay, I just want to ask you. Okay, ask like one question. Like,
Okay.
what's the one question that we can either go forward or we can say, you know what, I never even thought about that question. So like, what's one of the most, not just popular, but one of the most that people find really intriguing?
About me or about themselves? Well, the one question I always tell people to say about themselves is to ask the one question, why not me?
Yes.
Why
yes.
not me? Because when you ask yourselves, why not me, you give yourself permission to excel and to succeed. Sometimes when we're not able to achieve our goals because we are waiting for someone else to give you permission to move forward, to pursue your dreams. But I think that when you say, why not me, you give yourself that permission, the authority to pursue what makes you not happy, but what brings you joy. Often we look around at other people and say, why her or why him? But when we say, why not me, that's a game changer. It changes our energy and our attitude. It puts us in the position as an airplane about to take off. You know how airplanes typically take off?
Right.
And before they reach a certain altitude, they have to experience what? Turbulence. And when you go through that turbulence that life will throw you, that turbulence, when we build that confidence, we get to that altitude, right? So when we get to that altitude in life, it's where we desire to be. But it's birthed through the why not me? Why can't I reach this altitude? Why not me? I'm born to do it. I possess something that the world has yet to see before. I embody what's beautiful. I embody what the world has never seen before. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I'm the beginning to end. I'm not the problem. I can only be the solution.
Absolutely. That is so powerful because a lot of times we go, you know what? Yeah, why me? And what do you mean, why not me? But why me? And so just kind of having to work through that every day is just phenomenal. And how can people find you?
Well, thank you for asking. Well, on Facebook, I can be found at Ignite Coach Ron Mitchell, JD MBA, and of course on Twitter and Instagram is Ignite Coach_Ron. So essentially, you can find me on social media, and of course, you search Ignite Coach Ron Mitchell, you'll find a lot of our videos on YouTube. And more importantly, we're Ignite Coach Ron Mitchell on LinkedIn. So we are essentially out here working to help to ignite the fire within. And in addition, I work with an amazing group of authors, consultants, and experts. Team Ignite.
Right, right. And so we are going to find Ron all over social media. So this has been the Ed Brown Show. I'm your host, Kamaria Richmond. Check out Ron Mitchell, and thanks, and we'll talk to you next time.